At the making of this video, the LA Lakers are currently the 7th seed in the Western Conference. I think you know what that means. That means they're currently in the NBA playoff tournament, which is something that no one would have expected going to the season. And when LeBron said that he doesn't know if he's ever going to be back to 100% again in his career after his ankle injury, and when AD's not playing like his usual self, everything about the Lakers just looks terrible right now. So I decided in today's video, I'm going to give some reasons to why I believe the Los Angeles Lakers are in trouble. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content and to reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And comment on this video, start a conversation with me as I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. The first and basically the biggest reason I'm honestly really worried about the Lakers is simply because of LeBron James. LeBron, as we know, is the most impactful and important player to this Lakers team. If you take off Anthony Davis off this team and keep LeBron, there's still a dark horse contender to make the finals. You take LeBron off this team and leave Anthony Davis on it, they're a 7th or 8th seed. So obviously, LeBron is really important to this team. Duh. But when you hear LeBron say things like his current ankle injury is hurting, he doesn't know if he's ever going to be back to 100% ever again in his career, that's honestly a really scary thing to hear. Since obviously, if LeBron's even at 90%, he's still a top 10 player in the league. But if he's going to be not at 100% for the rest of his career, it might dwindle down his career and he might be seeing some early signs of declination, which would be really bad for the Lakers in the future, but it would actually affect them this season as well. Because if they want to win the championship, I think they're going to need 100% of LeBron at his best. Also, it's been reported that throughout the postseason, LeBron is going to have to be feeling pain in his ankle, and that's simply terrible news because he's probably not playing at 100% if that's the case. But let me not sit here and act like we're not talking about LeBron James, one of the more durable players in NBA history, arguably the most durable player in NBA history. So there's a chance that I'm overreacting to his ankle and that he's going to be just fine, but there definitely is a warrant for concern. Because if LeBron is not 100%, you could argue the Lakers might not even make it out the Western Conference, and there definitely is a scenario where the Lakers don't even make it out the first round. Because if they get put in with the play-in tournament, they might have to face a team like the Suns or the Jazz. And I know throughout the season, a lot of people were acting like the Lakers will crunch those teams, and I kind of believed it as well. But if LeBron's not fully healthy, I don't think it will be an easy series, and I'd argue that there's a good chance that they would lose that series. So I don't think anything is really going well to them. I didn't honestly think I'd be saying this type of stuff at the beginning of the year, but LeBron James not being 100% definitely should scare you. The second reason I'm really scared for the Lakers is the fact that their second best player in Anthony Davis has been pretty bad since he's returned from injury, and just in general the whole season he hasn't been great, but especially ever since he's returned he's been terrible, averaging 17 points and 7 rebounds while shooting 40% from the field and 20% from 3. He simply hasn't been Anthony Davis. And with LeBron not going to be 100% going into the playoffs, you would have hoped that Anthony Davis could step up and take a bit of the load off of LeBron and maybe just play his best basketball, but that way is not looking like it's going to happen. And with the way he's playing, it looks like LeBron is going to be the one needing to step up, which is not the best thing in his current age and in his current condition. If Davis is not at his best, I don't think the Lakers are getting to the NBA Finals, and they're definitely not winning the NBA Finals, because although everyone acts like the Clippers are a trash team and are automatically going to choke in the playoffs, we did only see them one time in the playoffs, and they have been better this year, so I definitely wouldn't count them out. And it seems like the Suns or the Jazz are teams that the Lakers are probably going to play, and if the Lakers aren't playing good against those teams, they definitely can lose. And even if the Lakers fought through all of that and made it all the way to the NBA Finals, and if they're facing a fully healthy Brooklyn Nets team, if Anthony Davis is playing how he is right now, the Lakers will get absolutely crushed by the Nets. And it honestly pains me to say that, but it's the truth. But in AD's most recent game, he played very well versus the Blazers, scoring 36 points. So hopefully that's a sign that Davis is back, and by the postseason starts, he can be back to being a superstar. But something I've also noticed is that sometimes Anthony Davis plays like he's injured. Because a lot of the times he looks sluggish and lazy. Even at the beginning of the season he looked like that. So maybe that's just how he usually looks. I don't know. But AD is definitely a big concern right now if I'm a Lakers fan, which I am. The third reason I'm scared about the Lakers is the fact that it's looking like there's a high chance that the Lakers will be playing in the play-in tournament, which is definitely not something I expected to happen, but that's the reality. And although the Lakers are by far better than any team they would have to verse in the play-in, and I honestly would expect them to win, it is still somewhat nerve-wracking because anything can happen in those two games, and especially with the way the Lakers have just been playing, and the Lakers could actually miss the playoffs. And I'm not gonna act like if the Lakers versus a team like Memphis or the Spurs, they're gonna lose. I won't be too worried, but I think the Lakers will definitely get a challenge by the Golden State Warriors, mainly because they have Steph Curry. Because Steph Curry is a guy who could go off for 50 points if needed to. And if the Lakers are playing right now, it's not crazy to think that Steph could lead them to an improbable win. And honestly, the Lakers are just a banged up team right now, and you honestly wouldn't want to see them play more games than they have to, because them getting a rest would be really helpful for them right now. But there is a world where the Lakers playing in a play-in tournament gets their head back on track and turns their season around and all that. But if I'm being honest, that sounds like something out of a movie. I think they need to just try and avoid it, because that guy Steph Curry on the opposing team, literally anything can happen. This isn't a huge concern, but it's still definitely a concern. You don't want to play in the play-in tournament, especially when Steph Curry is on another team. The third reason I'm worried about the Lakers is the fact that if you look at the playoff seeding right now, the Lakers are probably at best going to be the 5th seed, but even that kind of looks unrealistic right now. So they're probably going to be either the 6th, 7th seed. And that might not seem as terrible, but when you realize that if the Lakers are the 7th seed, are the 6th seed, they will be versing a championship contender every step of the way. Because first they'd be first in the Suns, Jazz are the Nuggets in the first round, and all those teams are really good teams. And even the Nuggets without Jamal Murray are good, since Porter Jr. has really stepped up in his absence. So that definitely wouldn't be an easy series in the first round. And if they were to get past that round and go to the second round, they would have to verse one of those teams along with the Clippers. And actually there is a real chance that they verse the Clippers in the first round, which is like the worst case scenario for them, because the Clippers, I don't care what anyone else says, that's still a team that scares me. And at this current moment, the Lakers are 2 games behind Dallas for the 5th seed in the conference. And if they could get that, it would be huge, since they wouldn't have to face like the Clippers, Suns, or Jazz. Because although I was just talking positively about the Nuggets, I still don't think they can actually beat the Lakers, but they would just be hard. But if the Lakers could have got someone like Portland or Dallas in the first, honestly, every team in the West is hard, bro. Nothing comes easy, if I'm being honest. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know whether or not you agree or disagree with what I said in this video. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA content and to help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And comment on this video to start a conversation, as I do respond to all comments. And I'm out.